any of us who get into a position where we can make a difference by putting our name to organizations. Obviously, we've got to choose which organizations carefully, but but I think I'm involved in one or two youth organizations around the world, and one can be cynical about them, but great things can come from these things, and I'm hopeful that in 15 years' time, some of these people will be leading countries, or making a real positive difference to their countries. I mean, we all know. I'm also involved with the elders, and Kofi Annan is now chairing the elders, having Archbishop Tutu just stepped down, and we talked at great length in the car on the way here about good leaders and bad leaders, and the difference it can make to a country, and a good leader like Nelson Mandela used to be, transformed a country. There are a lot of bad leaders out there, and let's hope that One Young World points these young people in a direction that one day, when they're in positions of influence in their country, they can be good, honest leaders, and the people that go down in history are the honest leaders, the ones that may glow in false praise, in the 5 or 6 years where they're in power, while they push money into their pockets. They will not go down in history. They will not be remembered. I'm tomorrow going out to Ulusaba, which is a game reserve we have, and we have 12 business leaders from around the world meeting under an organization that we set up called the B Team, and it's the head of Unilever. Mohammed Yunus is one of the B Team leaders. Ariana Huffington. Anyway, and we will be debating. We'll be debating capitalism, for instance, and capitalism has never really been debated by the business community. Is capitalism as it works today? Is that the best system? I mean, or is there a hybrid of capitalism that might work better? Our social businesses, which is very much Mohammed Yunus's approach, is that a better system, or is there a hybrid of the two? How can we make sure that there is no poverty in the world? And as Mohammed Yunus beautifully put it tonight in his speech, he's managed to pull Bangladesh, almost out of poverty. And should there be people out of work in a country, or should one be able to share the jobs, the work that's around in a country? And so I think using all of our collective experience in the business world, we're just going to try to see whether we can come up with a better approach. I mean, for instance, at the moment, a lot of businesses just think about the quarterly bottom line profits. Should they be thinking about their environmental footprint? Should they be thinking about how they treat people? And I think most people would agree the answer is yes. So it's just how we can stop public companies being forced by their shareholders just to think in a blinkered one-track way. And so so with the One Young World, with the younger people, obviously, if we can come up with some guidance ourselves for businesses, then maybe next year we can funnel that back down to these people and debate it with them. Whether it's kids from the townships or whether it's young English kids, we all need mentors just to help us, get a leg up, and we all need advice. And I saw young Richard Branson's there today. Actually, it reminded me. I was a funny story. I was in Greece one day, and I was doing a speech, and there was this young lad who kept on asking me questions. Anyway, he ended up competing with me at Barcelona. But I thought I better not be too helpful today, otherwise I'm gonna have even more competitors out there. But no, I mean, some of the students today will go on to create great companies. Now, why is that relevant for South Africa or for a country? I mean, what is a business? A business is simply creating something which makes a positive difference to other people's lives. And if you can make a positive difference to other people's lives, you have a business. And you can make a positive difference as part of the business. And you can even go on and do even greater things than that. And employment in South Africa will come from all these small businesses, much more than it will come from bigger businesses. So. Really important. Well, I think I've been lucky to learn that most things are possible if you set yourself a challenge. You can achieve most things. To the extent that in 10 years ago, I registered the name Virgin Galactic Airways, and I knew nothing about space travel, nothing about building rockets, but just saying, okay, we're going to try to, find someone who can build a rocket to take us into space. We're about 3 or 4 months away from finally, building Virgin Galactic spaceships and taking people into space. And I had, you have to have the courage to go and try to raise the money, and obviously it's easier once you've already had some successes, behind you. But one thing leads on to another, and I'm just trying to think what things I've been scared to do. I suspect I should have been scared to do more. And I've fallen flat in my face on a few occasions. I thought I could knock Coca-Cola into touch, and that didn't work out. But anyway, one of the things we're going to be debating next week is it right that some people should be in work and some people should be completely out of work? And for instance. In the UK, if somebody who's working for a company wants to work part-time because maybe they want to spend more time with their kids and so on, it's very difficult to go part-time. And yet, if you allowed everybody to go part-time, you would free up a lot of space for a lot of people who are out of work to get jobs. South Africa's got, because of the Zimbabwe problem and so on, you've got an awful lot of people who are out of work. I don't know what the percentage. Do you know what the percentage is here? 20%, including immigrants, and yeah. So, 20% is difficult. I mean, if it was 10%, I would say that you should share. When kids come out of school, they should maybe do 3 days on, 3 days off. So they should share the work that's around, so everybody has the dignity of work, and so that nobody doesn't have the dignity of work. And whether it works with 20%, I'm not sure, but with 10%, I think it would work. Anyway, one of the things we're going to work on next week is trying to see if we can come up with ideas where we can say to governments, this is how everybody can have the dignity of work, and make suggestions. Young people maybe don't mind 4-day weekends, and they haven't got mortgages, and they haven't got children, and therefore some work may be better than no work, and those who are working full time might actually quite like a little bit of less time work. So we're trying to work out. I mean, small loans that Mohammed Yunus set up in Bangladesh are so effective. I was at Ula Sabha, our game reserve, a couple of years ago, this lovely lady in beautiful garment was sitting next to me, from an elder from the village, and she said, very quietly, look, if I could get $500, I could buy a sewing machine, and I could employ some people, and I'd be able to give you the $500 back in 3 months. And I never carry any money, but I just happened to have $500 in my pocket, and I slipped it to her. And about 4 months later, I was back in the village, and these 5 women came up to me. They'd sewn this beautiful garment. They handed the money back, and I asked where the woman was, and they all worked for her now. And she was in the marketplace selling garments. So, 6 people had got jobs from $500, and so I think microloans like that are really effective. I mean, most places they're only given to women because women have children and they're more likely to, not drink them away. And that in itself is possibly dangerous and slightly divisive. But that's another story.